up, Logan? What's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, it's going alright. Took the kids to a little Easter egg hunt thing tonight. It was pretty cool. Logan, what you been up to, man? Blessing my sense catches up with me. What's up?
Hey, Kennesaw. Your new Nordstrom Rack store is now open at Barrett Place. Discover wear now styles up to 70% off every day. Get the season's best new fashion.
How'd you like the video, man?
And accessories for the whole family. Plus home decor and so much more. All at prices so low you have to see to believe. So get to your new Nordstrom Rack at Barrett Place and score some amazing deals today.
Verbo Vacation Homes come with 24/7 live support.
He likes it. Alright, cool deal. Yeah, there's nothing going on here either.
Ever need anything,
Just another episode of
in about a minute.
Caffeine and Strings. Just hanging out.
Because if it's 4 a.m. and you need assistance, the last thing you want to do is wait to talk to a robot.
Hey, how can I help?
After all, live support is an amenity every vacation home should have. Verbo, private vacation rentals for you and your people.
It's damn rain again. All day today down here. All damn day rain. You got some snow. It's March. Where are you at? Oh, Illinois. I got you. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I'm down here in Georgia. Logan, up there, you got some snow too? Oh, just covered the grass. I got you. I still got my damn tools all over the place. I gotta put them up. Oh, so y'all want to see what I made today? I decided to go the cheap route, and instead of buying one of those archery chairs, you know, from like Elevation or whatever it was, I decided to make my own. It's ugly, it's cheap, but it works. Yep, little pop-out chair. Fold it up. So I got my arrows both sides. It's got a little down here at the bottom, right in here. Got a little zipper pouch so I can get everything, put all my stuff. But yeah, decided to just make it today instead of buying one. I'm cheap. Yeah, it works. Oh, you're getting an implant simulator? My wife has one of those. Appreciate it. Yeah, I ended up taking, what was it? Those little tubes that were in my hip quiver. I had a 3-tube quiver, and I took those out and just zip tied it to the leg of the chair on both sides, and it works great. It's got a hole, you know, on both ends. So what I did was I just took a little bitty drill through both sides of this and just collapse it together. You can see how easy it is. But just collapse it together and put a zip tie on there. That way my arrows don't fall out, you know, the bottom of it. And that was it. Yeah, Duggar. I hope it goes good, man. My wife, she's on her 4th back surgery. She's got total spinal fusion on her L4, 5, and 6. She's got a cage built around it, and then she's got a stimulator, and then she's got S1, S2 starting to have issues now. She's already had spinal fusion on her C1 and 2. So yeah, her whole back is, full of it. What's up, Allie? Or Ale, sorry. Yep. Something my wife's dealing with, Duggar, man. It sucks. Oh, God. So, yeah, y'all know I went to that Badlands, that R100 shoot, and for showing up, I got like a 30% discount thing from Badlands, and then for competing in the Iron Buck, Badland Iron Buck Challenge, I got a 50% discount. So I've got, 2 codes for, basically worth an 80% discount, but I just ain't found anything from Badlands that I want, honestly. She's a handful, she's a mess, digging in the dirt in her princess dress. Goes from tiny tornado to sleep. I've got some Badlands, camo gear already. But I ain't found anything else that I really want to use those discounts for. Yeah, and they got great stuff. Like I said, I've already got a bino harness. I've already got camo from them. I don't really know what else I need from them, so I don't really know what to do with those codes. It's just, they're going to expire, come Christmas time, but I don't know. Nimrod, what's up, man? Yeah, I got the vest too. I love the vest. Yeah, I wear that vest a lot in the winter.
Busting his butt, but he ain't acting right. I hope he's in every prayer his mama prays, and learns to work for every dollar he gets, and has a sense of humor.
What's terrible? Oh yeah, the back stuff. Yeah, it is. It is. But I will tell you, I went to that R100 and I was shooting good, but I did notice I was running my grip tape on the riser, and I just had a very small amount because I don't like a big, bulky grip or anything like that. So I ended up noticing, though, it was causing my hands to sweat more. So today when I got home, obviously I was at work all week, but today when I got home I took it off. So now I'm just back to the bare riser again. So has anybody in here got any other shoots that they're going to this week? Because I don't think I have any at all until the end of April. So God bless the boy she decides to love. Oh, God bless the boy she decides to love. Yeah, I gotcha. Johnny, what's going on, man? It is a Dart and Tempest ET. It's my target bow. Well, we all know it's not an Athens right now. Definitely not. I know so many people that's got the Athens that's now wanting to sell it and all that kind of stuff. It's funny. Oneida. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Broken tin, magazines, old honey jars. Spring cleaning is a time to get organized. Get your spring cleaning into gear and save when you choose Scana Energy as your natural gas provider. They have options for every family. Right now, you can even get up to $100 when you sign up. Call 877-GO-SCANA or visit scanaenergy.com/100 for details. Limited time only.
So okay, that. I was trying to find some more stuff on that too, because I know even Athens, when they posted all that stuff, was saying hopefully it doesn't interfere with our mountain view. But evidently, according to you, evidently it did. So thanks for clearing that up. So it did, shut down the mountain view as well. I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, again, it's my opinion. Athens, they kind of had one foot out the door, anyways. In my opinion, their bow technology they were 20 years outdated, anyways. Even on their new stuff, it was just there was nothing new. Oh, yeah, okay. I got you. The only thing else I gotta figure out with that chair that I made is I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for an umbrella. WYA. Where you at? Oh, I'm in Georgia. Down in Georgia. But yeah, I gotta figure out, because I've only got the two legs on the outside that I can put those holders on for the arrows. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I can do with the damn for the umbrella holder. Yeah, I've heard of Carrollton. I actually work in Carrollton, so I know exactly where that is. I've got my rental house out there in Carrollton Monday through Friday, because I'm only home 2 days a week. So yeah, I've heard of Carrollton very well. I've been there Monday through Friday for 3 years now. Bowden? Yep. I just got done running about 6 months ago. I just got done running all the fiber, all the internet fiber through Bowden. Where are you at now? What's going on, Hunter's Edge? South Louisiana? Okay. What deal? What's up, buddy? Just hanging out. Typical Friday night. After being gone all week, you know how it is. Just hanging out with all y'all. Out there by New Orleans. Okay. What, Duggar, what sight tapes are you using? Yeah, well, you know what, Hunter's Edge, you always do tons of hats, but I still don't have one for me to test yet before I want to buy any more. I still don't have mine yet. But, Duggar, no, I didn't know if, yeah, I knew what sight that you had, but I didn't know what sight tape you were. I don't know if you were running a factory CVE or if you had like a different program like Archer's Advantage or Precision Cut, or I didn't know any of that stuff. That's what I was asking. But I was gonna try and push y'all towards factory. Okay, I was gonna try and push y'all towards the new Precision Cut. Those tapes are insanely accurate. I decided to sign up for it and I got it. I'm sure y'all seen it scrolling through on your Facebook, the Precision Cut stuff. So I decided to give it a shot, and it is within a yard and a half more accurate than my Archer's Advantage. there's nothing wrong with factory, tapes. I noticed with mine from being in black gold, the black gold factory tapes, because it gives you like the obviously you can still do it the old way, measuring distance between your two points between 20 and 60 or 20 and 80, however you're setting it up, and just do it by the measurements and not worry about the number on the top of the factory tapes. The black gold, the way they do theirs is they do it by feet per second. Each foot per second is like a half a foot per second more. I think it starts down at like 240 or 245, something like that, and goes all the way up to like 320 or 330, I believe. But they're all labeled by the feet per second, which is great if you're shooting a perfect IBO arrow. If you're not, then your tapes are going to be off. So that's why I don't run the factory tapes. I always do, and just match it up. Yeah, that's one way to work it. But that's why I switched to an actual, a sight tape program versus, a factory tape, because they're not taking into consideration the different FOC or different any kind of differential between the arrow of what you're running versus, a factory, IBO arrow. And that's what the factories are always using. It's going good, Thompson. How you doing? Yeah, because it's just, it was funny. After I made my precision cut, sight tape, I measured it up next to a black gold sight, or the black gold sight tape, the factory sight tape, and it was showing that I was shooting, 276 according to their numbers on their sight tape, which matched up. My bow's only doing, right now 266. So it was, 10 feet per second off, which is a lot when it comes down to, incremental yardages. It's a lot. So I couldn't run that, tape to save my life. So that's why I went with an aftermarket, sight tape manufacturer. Yeah, my arrows are light too. I mean, obviously mine are, the target arrows, but mine are light. They're 345.5 is what all 12 of mine weigh exactly. Mine are within 4/10. I did a match grade build, so mine are within 4/10 of a grain. But I'm not a shooter by any means. So according to Tim Gillingham and all the people I've talked to, no human is going to be able to outshoot a 3 grain difference on your arrows. But I wanted to see how close I can get, doing a match grade build and weighing each individual component and putting in, the lighter components. So they have tolerances too. I took the lighter components and put it, with the heavier arrows and built, a match grade. And I got them all 12 of them within 4/10 of a grain. So I was really surprised at that. Evan, what's up, man? How you been, man? I've been trying to find you on here to see. Yeah, I am following you. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was trying to find you because I could tag you, and because that video that we did, for that shooting, that me, you, and Doug were all choosing different spots. I did end up, posting that one on my YouTube. The golf tee is still sitting there. That's what I was just talking about. The video's up on my YouTube. It was a good little video. I liked it. It was like an hour and a half long. It was pretty good. Yeah, the golf tee is still there, and I ended up not shooting anymore that day. I had been shooting for 2 days straight that day, and I was tired. Duggar, did you ever get your arrows in from Triggered? Yeah, like I said, I was trying to tag you in it, but I couldn't find you on it for some reason. I got like 3 or 4 Evans, and I wasn't exactly sure. But now I'm paying attention to your name, and I know who you are. So I got you on the next one, buddy. Okay, good, Duggar. I'm glad you got him in. But of course, now that you got him in, you're having a back surgery, and you don't really know how much shooting you're planning on doing. That's kind of bad timing. Shooter Lou, what's up, man? 50 to 75 a day. I used to actually count, how many I would shoot a day. Not now. I just gotten to the point where I just go out there. If I have a chance with the weather, like today I couldn't shoot at all. It's been raining since I woke up and it has not stopped yet. But when I have a chance to get out there, I just shoot until I can't anymore. If I got something come up, and I gotta stop shooting. If I don't, if I can continue shooting, I'll shoot until, I just know that I'm done. So I quit basically keeping count. I do know that I've shot, so daggone much that the first time I took my bow to the shop, because I've got everything here to work on a bow except for a press. So I took mine to the shop to have it retuned because I know I had actually felt the string stretch. So, but I had just gotten it, and when I walked in there, he's like, "Good Lord!" He's like, "How quick are you stretching these strings? Like, how many times a day are you shooting?" And that was when I first got this bow. I was shooting probably 200-300 arrows a day, and it wasn't but maybe 3 weeks after I got the bow, I had to get it redone because it had stretched so much. Unfortunately, I am still running, these factory strings that do stretch over time, so I'll be getting some new strings here soon, though. Can I say hey to Michael? Yeah, hey Michael. Want me to explain a 12 ring, you aim at it, and why? Are we talking the 12 ring on IBO or the 12 ring on ASA? ASA, okay. You want me to draw you something up so you can understand what the target is, or just kind of explain it? I can draw some, wicked stick figures. My process. Okay. So my process I learned from Ryan Jeffries. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's a factory shooter for don't you have to call 12 high or low? Okay, so yeah, it's a little different. But Ryan Jeffries, he's a factory shooter for Matthews. He's an older guy. He's in the, I don't think he's quite, no, he is. He's in the senior pro class. But he helped me a lot with it because I physically can't see. On some of these, shorter targets, 30 and in, I can see the 12 rings. But anything outside of, 35, I can't see the individual 12 rings themselves because the 12 rings are... They're always orientated inside that 10 ring where the upper is always towards the head of the target. If you ever get confused by that, don't worry about where the 12 is. It's always upper and it's always towards the head of the target, no matter which way the target's facing. But the 10 ring is a 5-inch circle, and the 8's obviously the vitals on the outside, and then the 5 is anywhere on the body. But your 10 ring is a 5-inch circle, and your 12s are 1.5 inches in diameter on either side of that 10. It's either they're inside that 10 ring. But what I typically do, and I learned this from, I used to focus, hyper focus on those 12s, and I'd always hit like a 10 or an 8 or sometimes a 5 if I pulled it real bad. So I quit worrying about the 12. I just quit worrying about it. And what I focused on was that center ring inside the 10. There's another ring that's 1.5 inches. So you got 3.5 inch rings inside that 5-inch 10 ring. The center one is just 10. The lower one is a lower 12. The upper one is an upper 12. The lower 12 is always in play. You can shoot it at any time. The upper 12 you have to call, and if you miss it, you either get wherever your arrow lands. If you miss it, you can either miss high, depending on the target, miss high and hit an 8, or if you lift a little too high, hit a 5, or if you miss low, you'll hit a 10. So you'll always get scored on that, but you always have to call the upper. Lower is always in play. But what Ryan Jeffries taught me was aim at the center 10, no matter what it is, and that way your main focus is that 5-inch. We can all focus on a 5-inch circle a lot better than we can, you know, an inch and a half. An inch and a half, like I said, at certain yardages is really hard to see. So what he always told me was to aim at the center 10, and if I want to call upper, I just take my sight and dial up 1 yard, and it will go up to that one. You know, it'll be close, or if not, you know, center punch to 12. It'll be close to that upper 12. If we just wanted to play it safe and just go with a lower 12, which is always in play, just dial down a yard. So that way I can still have my main focus on that center 10, but I can either just adjust my sight and it's still aiming at the center, the arrow would hit the upper or the lower. You sent me a link. Okay. Well, I'll check it when I get in here later. Since I'm in here now, I can't. Yeah, I mean, it helped me so much because I used to get so, like I said, I would get so hyper focused on trying to find and trying to aim at those individual 12s all the time, and it would blow my mind at how much I would miss. But I noticed the more times I actually just took his advice and stepped back and just held center 10 and don't worry about anything else. Don't even worry about it. Just hold center 10, and if you want to call upper, if it's an easy target to see, call upper. As long as the upper is, you know, not, you know, grouped together by so many different arrows, you can still sneak one in there, you know, at a yard. If they're all grouped together in that upper 12, and you know you're going to either bust an arrow or, you know, you don't want to bust your buddy's arrows, but then again, if you want a 12, just back down a yard, and you'll go in the lower. What's going on, James? So yeah, that really helped my focusing a lot. And honestly, it took a lot of stress off me in my shot process. Every time I came to full draw, I'm just like, you know, okay, trying to focus on this 12, and it was killing me. It was absolutely killing me. I've got the Darton Tempest ET, so 37.5-inch axle to axle, 7 5/16 brace height. 63 pounds, 30-inch front bar, 15 back bar, vapor trailed, limb driven rest, Black Gold Pro single pin sight, run a 4-power lens. Miss, it's usually low when I do. When you miss, it's usually low. Okay. I mean, so that could be a couple of different issues. I don't know if maybe you're off by a yard, you know, on your sight tapes, or, you know, is it usually the ones that you do miss on, is it usually the further ones away or the closer ones? You just got a Bowtech Reckoning. That's a great bow. It's a really good bow. Aiming at the top edge of the range, since I tend to drift down. Why do you drift down? Is it you just notice you're you know, when you're holding it, you just kind of drift down naturally as you come to full draw and as you're anchoring in? Does your muscle memory just naturally go, or are you pulling and as you release? Because that could just be a form of target panic as well, actually. Okay, it's usually 34 to 46, no 40. Okay, so what that actually sounds like to me, after 30 yards, if you're actually running for target archery, if you're running too heavy of an FOC, like a hunting arrow, which I'm a big advocate for, you know, FOC in the hunting world, but in the target world, if you're running too high of an FOC, after 30 yards, that arrow will drop dramatically. So you may want to either play with some FOC change, go up a little bit in your FOC, like instead of running, you know, 20% or 19% like I was, you know, now I'm only running like 13% FOC, you know, for my target setup, just so I don't have, after 30 yards, such a big drop. Nor you got muscle memory? Okay. Alright. 19. Evan, you're at 11. That's great. That's great for ASA. I'm wondering, since you're still hitting low at 30, you know, anywhere between 35 and 40, I'm wondering, again, this is all my opinion, if you're only at 11% FOC, your arrow is not dropping like a high FOC. How far, when you set your, when you first got your bow set up, what distance were you sighting in at when you had your peep height set? I know those are your marks for your tapes, but for your peep height, where did you actually tie your peep in at? What distance was your sight at?
Till I had to fix my truck. Talked to brother the other day. He didn't have too much to say.
Because you got to think, if this is your sight, peep to arrow or sight, your sight. So your peep, your sight's here in the front, and so your peep is back here in the back, right on the string over here by your eye. Okay, so if they are not perfectly eclipsed, then if it's off, if your sight's up and your peep's a little too low, that's going to make you hit low. That changes at further yardages, because the more, here, let me take the bars off of this thing so I can actually show y'all here. Basically what I'm getting at is the higher your scope is also the higher your peep needs to be. So, and this front bar is on here tight. Okay. So, y'all can see how high my peep is in relation to, I mean, obviously I'm not at full draw right now, but what happens is when you lower this and you lower it down, okay, your peep needs to be in relation with that. Now obviously your peep doesn't move, once it's tied into the string. So what I typically do is I'll run my peep, let's just say in ASA, my furthest distance is 50 yards. So what I do is I will actually set my sight up at 50 yards at my max distance for my style of competition and my class of competition that I do. I'll go to full draw, and then I will actually set my peep height to where I get a perfect eclipse at that 50 yard mark. Now when I bring my sight back up to 20, it may not be perfectly eclipsed on my sight housing, but I know for a fact that it's still going to hit in the mark, even especially at the further distances, because at a further distance I'll have a better full eclipse. But being off just a shade up, compared, if you have the two circles, just a shade up or a shade down will throw your sight off, and it will throw your point of impact off. That's why your total eclipse is your biggest advocate for accuracy on your peep to sight housing. You gotta have that thing dialed in. So 90% of the people that I see, they're at a standard shop and they're setting their peep height up, at a target that's only 20 yards. Well, as soon as they go out and start shooting, 70, 80 yards, they're having to do this, looking up to try and see through, or they'll have to come down a lot to try and see through their peep because it's not lining up, which is going to throw everything off. Yeah, especially with a super tiny peep, you definitely have to pay a lot more attention, because you got a 364 TST. I shoot at 330 seconds. A tiny peep will make that actually even a bigger issue, because you have less room for error with a tinier peep. Triggered, and most of your known, really well-known guys like that are into the whole target side of it, and they understand all of that a little bit better, most of them will set it pretty much in the middle, because 80% of the population is going to shoot between 20 to 80 yards. So you think if you just tie in your peep at 40, you're going to be pretty good around most of those numbers. Any experience with the hybrid vanes? Yes. Let me grab. I do. I've got plenty of experience with the hybrids, but for right now, I am running the Max Stealths. That's what I'm running on mine right now. Anything AAE related, I love them. The only thing gripe I do have about the new Air Razor vanes, they are just as light as the Max Stealths. They're stiffer than the Max Stealths, but they don't have what I call the vein memory or the muscle memory. Paige Pierce started shooting them as a test before they released them, and that was her biggest complaint, was when she'd go through a bag target, or or if it went in all the way up to the fletchings in a foam target, when she pull them back out, they were just as bad, if not worse, than tacks as far as their memory. They would not come back to shape. So that's the only thing I have with the new Air Razors right now, is they have a problem with their memory. That's why I like a softer vane. Yeah, it may stand to getting ripped off easier, but on the other side of that coin, I have better memory on it. Q2I's a great vane as well. Got tacks. Oh, see, I ran tacks, and okay, so look here. Now, granted, this is a bad explanation because it's only 3, that are in this quiver now. So, but when they're all bunched up together like this, you've got to be careful with those tacks, because I had, 12 arrows, a whole dozen arrows full of tacks, and the tack vanes, when they're sitting up next to each other like this, they will actually, kind of bend by the pressure of them sitting on each other. I had that. I never shot the arrows, and I'd pull them out, and they were, the fletchings were already bent. And I tried boiling water, I tried a heat gun, I tried a hair dryer, I tried all that stuff. They would not come back to shape. So I said, forget it, I'm not using tacks anymore. But yeah, Nick and all those guys over there at AAE, I love those guys to death. I will run AAE until AAE gets sued by Bowtech, looks like everybody else is. What kind of the Concrete Legend? What broadhead are you running? Yeah, this is kind of what I'm getting at. So what broadheads are you running for your hunting arrows? Don't know yet. Okay, what I have found in my experience, if you're running it fixed, now this doesn't matter for mechanical. You can run whatever vane you want for mechanical. Don't be nervous about it. If you're running a mechanical, run the max. You're fine. What I found for fixed, the side profile of, like, if you're running a big inch or an inch and a half, or not really an inch is kind of small, but an 1 3/8 or an 1.5 inch fixed mechanical, like a Montec, okay, an M3. You need a high profile vane. You need it like a Blazer, or the Max Stealth, or even as loud as they are. I don't really like them because of how loud they are, but the Max Hunters, the high profile, you got to match your profiles on each side of the arrow. So obviously this is a bad example because this is a target arrow, so there's not a broadhead on here. But if you can imagine a little triangle up here, like a Montec M3, if you got a big 1.5 inch broadhead here, and you've got a real small profile like something like this, on the back of it, it's not going to be able to steer as well, because you're going to have too much steering on the front with the bigger, higher profile on the blades. You want your profile here and here to match. That way it has the steering capabilities to be able to correct itself, before it reaches the target. I always see people do that. Or I don't always, but I have seen people do that, where they'll run this big, iron wheel or something like that up in front, and they'll have a vane that's this small on the back of it, and it's like, okay, so your shots are 20 yards and in, because anything after 30 yards, you need the extra steering on the back of it to help that broadhead and steer that broadhead in the correct direction. So I hope that helps your choice when you go to, when it does come hunting season. Yeah, because you want both sides of the arrows to be able to steer and correct themselves in the same manner. Another big tip for that steering is you want to make sure your spine is correct as well, because you know when you cut the arrow at the rest, or just after the rest, however long you cut it, that stiffens your spine up, which is going to determine how much it flexes and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into just buying a pack of arrows and putting a broadhead on it. There's a lot of stuff that, in my opinion, needs to be thought about, needs to be brought up, and instead of going out there with, I'm not saying that you can't go out there and get your critter, with a good shot. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just these animals deserve the respect of understanding our, equipment and making sure our equipment is going to do the most ethical job. So I'm big on arrow building and component building, and obviously, accuracy is what actually kills. So just give yourself and the animal the respect that this kind of equipment deserves. Yeah, mega meats are a good one. The only thing is, the mega meats have a really big taper, or angle of blade, I should say. Let me try and find something here, maybe to explain it for those that don't know, just in case. Okay, we're gonna pretend these Allen wrenches are broadheads. How about that? So if this is, the ferrule of the broadhead, and this is your blade that's coming off, on the mega meat once it opens from the point end. So the mega meats have a real steep angle on their blades. So once it tries to go into the target, it's losing a lot of kinetic energy by having to expand the skin and muscle tissue and all that stuff with that steep of an angle. That's why I like the dead meats a little bit more, because the dead meats have a shallower angle, but it's a longer blade. It's the same length of blade, but it's a shallower angle. So you're still getting the same amount of measured total measured cut, but you're not wasting all of your kinetic energy, and you stand a better chance of getting a full pass through, even if you're running 50, 60 pounds versus Cam Haynes out here with 92.5 pounds. It's just, or like Tim McGillingham that has 33 1/4 draw. It's just we're not that kind of, we're not built like orangutans like them. So if you're only running 50, 60, maybe 70 pounds on your hunting bow, again, give these critters the respect they deserve, and don't try and you don't want to try and force a cheese wedge through a block. It's just, it takes up a lot of energy. So cut it down a little smaller. You'll get more penetration. So the hybrid range with a dead meat, that would be either the hybrid or like I'm using the Max Stealth, like the hybrid 26. I love those veins. Absolutely love those veins. I ran those for the past 2 years hunting. That would be the ideal setup. What poundage are you running, and what's your draw length? Stealth is king. Bergy, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining, hanging out with us, man. I know you're a busy guy, taking your time out for little old me. Just got into it 2 months ago. Okay. 28.5, 70 pounds. Yeah, that, either the A hybrid or the stealth. I'm a big advocate for the stealth. Bergy is a big advocate for the stealth. Any of those two, matched with a dead meat, there's nothing in North America that's going to stop you at that point. With a 70-pound, 28.5-inch draw, you're probably shooting, depending on how heavy is your arrow, I'm going to say 450, 470, somewhere around there. You're probably shooting 270 feet per second, making probably 71 to 72 pounds of kinetic energy. You only need 45 pounds of kinetic energy to get through a bear. So nothing is stopping you. Yeah, exactly, Berger. 466, yeah, I mean, you're golden. You're absolutely golden. You've got the perfect hunting setup. Now the key is to make sure that you're accurate. Rip TKOs. Hey, I'm not a big rip guy, but they're great arrows. I'm not gonna lie, they're great arrows. Appreciate it, Bergy. Did you get them because they look cool with that little, 3K weave on there? Or did you get them because everybody on YouTube has them? Or, Dan Staten has them from Elk Shape. Why did you get the Rip TKOs? Why did you get those over anything else? Pro Shop recommended. Okay. Hey, ain't nothing wrong. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with it. Bergy, you get stuff because it looks cool and you have the money to do so. So whatever. Well, Bergy, you're still running some of the, coolest, simplest wraps that I've ever seen. And if you made some that were 1.2 inches wide instead of just an inch wide, I would put your wraps on my target arrows all day long, no questions asked. They taught you out of the Eastons. There's nothing wrong with the Eastons. I mean, for a hunting situation, Easton, as long as it's not an FMJ, you're fine. And as long as you're not getting, the VAP SS from Victory, you're fine. Yeah, Adam's archery stuff is cool too. But what I'm talking about with Bergy and his wraps, he's got a company that makes his wraps, but they're simple. They're not overdone with this honeycomb looking label on them, and it's just, his are simple, and I love simple. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but you can. That's fine. I'll let you do it. Nora, next time you get a chance, hop over on Bergy's and look at some of his shooting videos and look at his wraps. His wraps they remind me of, I don't know if you've ever seen trad wraps, like the wood arrows that had those little bitty lines, on the ends of the arrows. His wraps have those little clean little lines. They're beautiful. And then he tops them off with those, all white. I'm not sure if those are the hybrids or the Max Stealths. I think we all follow Bergy. I mean, it's just, he called me the other day and we were talking about how many people get on all of his platforms, and it's crazy how much he's blown up. Stealths, okay, yeah. Yeah, I decided to go with black on mine, and the black Knox too. So I've got the black Knox, I've got the black Stealths. But I had so many people comment at the R100 about why do you use black? Why do you use black? And after every time I shot and they were trying to find my arrow in the target, I said, that right there is why. I said, I don't give you, the other person shooting, something else to aim off of, and they disappear in that target. You can't see these. The only thing you can see is the silver, on the pin bushing, which I do want to take a Sharpie to every single one of these so that they won't have anything else to go off of. Yeah, I mean, they're clean, they look good and all. But I mean, it's got, the natural, of course, the manufacturer label on there. But if I could get, Bergy, if you got any extras, throw me some wraps, man. Those simple wraps. But I would probably change it up. I would like a black wrap with white lines. Let me know if you can work something out with your guy up there at Evolution, and I'll let you know. I'll get with you on that.
You're in luck. With DoorDash, you can score a mouth-watering 50% off your next order from your favorite bakery.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not legally colorblind, but I agree with you on that. For the hunting setup, I run white, and for target, I run black.
Enjoy the meals you love most delivered to your door fast. So, satisfy your cravings and save big with DoorDash by using code BIGDEAL at checkout. That's BIGDEAL. Order now.
Purple and gray flex with a smoke knock. Okay. Concrete, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Purple and gray also. I've seen a lot of purple and grays this year. A lot of them. Good Lord, Concrete. Appreciate it, man. 300 with 24. Nice. That's awesome. I actually shot a Vegas face today too. I didn't come nowhere near that. I shot, what did I shoot? I shot a 296. I think I had 20 X's. That's some good shooting, man. Real good shooting. But I'm still learning the whole. Yeah, you're shooting the 4 mils, so I cut some lines with my 23s. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm still learning the indoor game. It's a lot different. A lot different. The indoor game takes some serious lighting, you know, to figure out. Hate indoor. Yeah, that's really impressive with a 4 mil. That's good. Yeah, because of course, you know, the shop that I went to shoot the indoor today, they had probably as much lighting as I have here, and that's it. That's all you get. Their lighting there is horrible. But that's one thing I do like about the indoor. It's the face of it is designed to make your pin completely disappear. It's designed to mess with you, and it's designed to, you know, really make you, you know, hyper focus. And it's the challenge of it. I absolutely love it. Evan, you can have all that indoor that you want, man. Today's 296 is my best. Yeah, but see, that's outdoor, and I have tons of lighting outdoor. I've had a lot of people ask me if you know, about getting into, you know, the world archery side. I haven't done it yet, but I may look into that next year. I'm going to continue on with this ASA, you know, this year that I'm already in, but next year I'm gonna try and dabble into that field or, you know, world. I haven't done it yet. I got you. Okay. Go back through some of these comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. That's another thing, Nora, that's on your comment earlier, the 5 spot. That's another one that I haven't done yet. I haven't done a 5 spot yet. I've done, you know, the simple, you know, 3, you know, indoor, Vegas style. I'm gonna have to look into that next year, that outdoor, you know, stuff, the NFAA world and all that stuff. I'm gonna have to look into that next year. I got invited to go to Lancaster by my Broadhead sponsor, and they actually made me a jersey and everything, and invited me to come up, and you know, they were gonna reimburse me for everything, every dime spent, but that first initial cost for me to get up there, it was too much for me this year. I just couldn't do it this year, so maybe next year. Target 1400, animal round 6 feet to 80 yards. Wow. Yeah, it is expensive, man. Especially, you know, coming from down here in Georgia, you're going all the way up there, and then, you know, it's just, you know, a week worth of hotel, and it's just, good Lord, it's a lot, man. It would have cost me over $2,000 for it, and I just couldn't do it. Yeah, Bergy, I know. We ain't got the change like you do, though, boy. I'm poor. You funny. Oh yeah, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. Oh wait, I got something for Evan. Evan, you still in here? All right, Evan. So you remember in that video that we did that I was giving everybody a challenge? You know, get me up, you know, however many it was, more 1,000 followers, something like that, and I would do a Robin Hood on command within 50 arrows. It was the and I was gonna use the unit bushings instead of the pin knocks because it's almost impossible with a pin knock. But there, so you can see, I can do it. So everybody can see that I can do it. And this is the third one out of the first set of arrows out of this new bow when I first got it set up. Oh wow, 8 lane? Wow. Yeah, I guess. Oh well. Shit happens. So yeah, Evan, everybody in here, Bergy, that challenge is still going on. If I get another 1,000 followers, I'm going to do a live Robin Hood within 50 arrows. I guarantee one. But I will be using the unit knock in the target and shooting one of my other arrows into it. Join for a little bit? Hell yeah. Let me get you in here. Let's see here. There you are.
The music's probably gonna mess with my audio.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
What's up? What's he doing? Building more sexy arrows?
No, dude. I'll be honest.
I know you hate
Building.
building.
Yeah, I hate building arrows. Like that's my least favorite thing to do. The less I can do it. I have a dozen uncut arrows sitting over there that I've just been pushing off. They've been here for like 2 weeks. I've been pushing off just because I don't want to build them. You know.
Yeah.
I hate building arrows. I used to do it all the time when I worked in a shop, and it's just not my favorite thing in the world. It's just so mundane, you know?
Right.
It's just so mundane and so boring and all that stuff. I'm actually working on a couple articles right now, and then I got to get a couple YouTube videos out, but I've just been kind of lazy and pushing those off, but
Right. Okay.
it is what it is.
Hey, someone was in here earlier. Duggar was saying something about changing the live to make it 18 or older, and you won't see that little age restriction thing.
No, you'll still get it.
Oh, okay.
You'll still get it. Yeah. I get one every single live.
I got you. Okay.
Every live. Yeah, because I cuss too much.
Yeah, probably.
Uh,
Yep. So, how long you been in mine? Did you hear anything that you were kind of like on, or anything you wanted to add on, or say that I'm
oh,
completely
I
wrong
just
on?
joined right when I said stealths are king. That was when I joined. I
Okay,
just heard that part of it.
I got you. All right. Yeah, earlier we were talking about how I like to kind of do it is almost match your side profile, match your height profile of your vane with your broadhead for the best steerage and correcting. Instead of
Yeah,
having
you
like
know,
instead of having like a huge, like iron wheel or something on the front and having a small, very, very small profile vane, it's not going to help it.
yeah, see, I was on the phone with Brent Hahn yesterday. I don't know if you know who he is, but he owns Valkyrie
Yep.
um, archery products, like the Jagger and the center pin system and everything.
Yep.
And
I'm partnered with VPA,
VPA.
VPA just joined with them, and they're going to be starting to work on their own, arrows and broadheads as well.
Yeah, and I was talking to him because through the grapevine, I was talking to a guy and I helped him fix his bow. And that guy, unbeknownst to me, was like really good friends with Brent. And he told Brent about me. And then Brent wanted to call me and talk to me about like some bow tuning stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure, dude. I'm just like really busy. So like, we need to schedule it. Like,
Right.
and he's like, well, I normally don't schedule things. I was like, bro, if you don't schedule it, it's going to be hard for me to like guarantee that I can call you. Cause I'm a small business owner, but like I work a full-time job too, so it's like
Right.
everything I live calendar date to calendar date is like how I live my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And like when I do lives out there, like I bet you I only tune like 30% of the bows I get in on live, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like just because like sometimes I'm sitting there and like I feel bad because like I want to give people content and I want to answer questions, but it's like, dude, if I got 10 bows sitting here, I'd rather just go out there and crank them out and
Yep.
just, I mean, I'm sure you've joined my live some days, like when I'm out there real late and I'm like, fuck it, I'll throw a live up and I don't even look at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even
Yeah.
read the chat. It's just like, I got shit to do. Um, but I was talking to Brent and he was basically saying that like, his philosophy is that the more FOC you have, the less vein you need. I don't know if I agree with him on it. I mean, I haven't really tested it because like I've tested different veins, um, but I always end up coming back to the stealths. Like always end up coming back to the stealths. So I've never really tested like if more FOC or less FOC is like affected by how much vein I have. Like this year I just cut like 3% FOC off my arrow, my hunting arrow this year, um, which I haven't done in a long time. I've been running the same arrow up until last year for like 7 years. So um, I'm a creature of habit. Like I don't change things very often.
Right.
And so like for me, I don't know. I always tell people like if you're having issues with flight and you know your bow is tuned right, throw some stealths on there and you'll be fine. Like
Yeah.
that's just
The stealths are awesome, and the only thing I could probably add to that, maybe if you have another conversation with them later on, and maybe you could put this in your memory bank or not, but the only thing I've ever noticed is anything within 50 yards, the more FO, I agree with that inside of 50 yards. More
right.
FOC is going to pull that arrow, and if you play around with like a lab radar and stuff like that, your kinetic energy, if you have higher FOC, your kinetic energy doesn't change that much. Like if you go up, 3 or 4% in the FOC, your kinetic
Hmm.
energy won't change that much, but your momentum is what's going to change a lot more. Um,
Right.
Now, outside of 50 yards, I still think that at some point the back end of that arrow is going to have to overtake. Um, so I think that outside of 50 yards, that statement would be incorrect.
Yeah, and Brent, he kind of told me I was crazy because he was like, "Well, what arrows are you shooting?" And I told him, and um, I mean, dude, I'm shooting a heavy arrow. I haven't shot an arrow this heavy GPI wise in a
Mm-hmm.
long time. Usually I'm shooting a 125 head with a 120 grain insert or a 100 grain insert and like a 8 to 8.5 GPI shaft. And right now I'm shooting, I don't know what they are actually. I want to say they're 11.2.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're 11.2 GPI.
Jesus, that's heavy.
Yeah,
So what?
11.2.
What do you like? 550?
Like 535 or something like that at 16% FOC.
My last hunt setup was
I'm
475.
calculating it right now to see.
Yeah. My last hunting setup was 475 with 21% FOC.
See, and I tried the whole like really, really heavy FOC thing. Yeah, 533 at 16%. That's what I'm at.
Yeah,
Dang,
I
that was
got
pretty
you.
good right off the top of the dome that I remembered that.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah,
I
but no,
mean,
my
and
my target setup. We were talking about that earlier too. With one of the guys in here was having an issue anywhere between 35 to 40 yards. He was noticing that he would, it would his arrow impact would go lower, and that's what I was telling you. If you're running that heavy, a typical hunting setup, 19-20% FOC at 30 and 40 yards, you'll see that arrow just drop trajectory
Mhm.
wise. It'll just drop quick.
Right,
So
and
I'm only running, like a 13% FOC in my target setup.
I mean, and if you really like get down into the nitty gritty with it, like going from like a 8.5 GPI to like a 10 GPI, and you cut your arrow the same way to get the same FOC, it's only a 50 grain swing,
Yep.
or like a 58, 60 grain swing, one way or another. I mean, on my rampages, those were 8.2 GPI, and I was running a 100 grain insert. Well, I was running a 120 grain insert, and then I went to a slower bow. So I
Yeah.
wanted to, I wanted to hit the same speed again. So I ended up cutting 20 grains off my insert.
Yep.
Um, and so I was running like a 100 grain insert with a 125 head, and they were like 480 at like 16% FOC. But if I went up to the same weight that these are at, I was only at like 18%
Yeah.
FOC. So it was like in the grand scheme of things, do I really think 2% FOC matters? No.
No.
As far as penetration goes, do I think 2% FOC matters? No. I think a lot of people, and I told Brent this too. I was like, a lot of people, everybody was kind of on that Ashby train, for a long time
Yep.
of like, okay, Ashby says 650 grains, 3-to-1 ratio, broadhead, 19% FOC and above, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they all forget that like his first three things was structural integrity, perfect arrow flight, and then it was all the other shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's like everybody was focused on all the other
All
shit
the
and they
other
kind of
things. Yeah.
forgot about
Because
number one and two.
exactly, because if you I've talked with Troy about this, and he's even said on other podcasts as well that he doesn't understand how to tune a bow, and the
Yeah,
problem
so
with
how
it
can you
is
push the heavy arrows
that's
if
why he's
you
pushing the
can't do
heavy
number
arrows.
one and two? I mean,
Yeah.
he can do number one, structural integrity,
Yep.
but I mean, I told people this all the time. You watch Dan Staten or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
really anybody on YouTube that's like a mid-weight arrow guy, and they're like, dude, I'll shoot an elk with a 450 grain arrow at 27 inches. Dan Staten's like a
Oh yeah.
26 and a half inch draw length, and
Yep.
he's shooting like a 450 grain arrow at elk, and
I
everybody's
think his
like, oh my
fewest
God.
one are like 430. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody's like, oh my God, why are you doing that? It's like, well, Dan's bow is tuned well enough that like it's gonna blow through an elk, like because he has
Yeah,
good arrow flight. But I
exactly.
don't care if you're shooting 600 grains, if that arrow hits crooked, like you're fucked. I mean, you're
Yeah.
fucked.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't care if you're running 600 grains and a single bevel broadhead, you're fucked. I mean,
And I think that's what it all boils down to is the higher FOC, the higher total arrow weight. It's masking the bow being out of tune.
yeah, and the thing I always tell people too is like, yeah, I mean, I've killed stuff with everything from 420 grains all the way up to 700 grains.
Wow.
And I've killed stuff with recurve out to 50 yards, and I've killed stuff with recurve and compound at 3 yards, with various weights. I mean, dude, I went to Hawaii and I killed that axis deer that's on the wall over there.
Hmm.
And I went there like a 620 grain arrow, 80-pound bow, 31-inch axle to axle, like just a super unforgiving platform. It was a
Yeah.
speed bow.
Yeah.
Um,
6 inch or less brace height.
it was a 6-inch brace height. And I was like prepared to launch something at a deer at like 40, 50 yards. And I ended up shooting both my axis deer on that trip at 7 yards.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
I could have shot
Wow.
that thing with a 300 grain arrow. It wouldn't have mattered,
Yeah.
like 7 yards. I'm putting it in the pump station.
So here's another thing. Tim Gillingham. I don't know if you heard my last podcast with him, but he actually went on an Africa trip, and I can't remember what animal it was that he took. I think it was an impala or something like that. 120-yard kill shot. That's just crazy. But he practices at 100 yards all the time. But a
Right.
120-yard kill shot. Do you know how much his arrow weighed?
Like probably like 375.
Less than 400 grains,
Yeah.
and he blew straight through it.
Oh yeah, dude, I shot my
So you
mule
told me
deer.
all these guys in here about this heavyweight stuff. That just went out the window.
Yeah, I shot my mule deer in 20 this mule deer right here actually. I shot this one in 2022 at 87 yards.
Nice. My furthest shot on a critter is 55.
I don't know where I put my can of chew.
But I mean, I'm not. I'm in a completely different, geographical area than you are. I don't have, I don't have the open plains. I don't have all that kind of. I'm in the dense, thick Georgia woods, and my furthest shot's 55 yards on an animal.
But you know what's crazy is this buck. I shot this buck with a
Yeah, Evan, he's 33 and a quarter.
I shot that buck with like a 480 grain arrow at like 20 yards, but I set the bow up the night before, so it probably wasn't perfect. Like I set it up at like 9 p.m. the night
If you set
before,
it up, it's perfect.
and well, yeah, I mean it was good enough to hunt with,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like I told myself like I wasn't gonna shoot past 20 yards.
I got you.
Like I just I I knew that the arrow flight was a little off on it, but I was shooting a fixed blade, and I had got the bow in the mail that day, put new strings on it, set it up at like 9 p.m., and I was in the stand at 4 a.m.
Oh
and
wow, yeah, yeah.
and
You didn't
I
have
shot
time
that
to
deer.
fine tune it.
Yeah, I shot that, and I had it like sighted into 20 yards. I shot that deer, and I did not get a. Actually, I passed through him on the first shot. Actually, I passed through him on both shots. Yeah, I blew through him on both shots, but the second shot, um, just like the fletchings hung up on the backside, and that was at
Yeah,
20 yards
yeah.
of the 480 grain arrow. But that's how much, like just a little bit, like just a very, very little bit of not perfect arrow flight, and you can lose so much penetration.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I shot this deer at like 45 yards with a 500 grain arrow, zipped right through it with a mechanical. That mule deer, I shot that one at 80. 7 yards with a mechanical and 60 pounds.
Oh wow.
And this axis deer I shot with a single bevel and
Yep.
blew right through that. I actually shot that one frontal. It went in like right here and came all the way out his opposite ass cheek. But
Nice.
like perfect arrow flight is like
It's
the
key.
most important thing to me.
It's
Like
key.
it is,
It's that's like your number one or number two, blog on your website as well. I mean,
yeah.
Aeroflight is king, man.
Yeah, arrow flight to me is definitely king. I know that Ashby says structural integrity. Nowadays, I think it's pretty hard to not get a strong arrow.
Yeah.
So, like for me, like like structural integrity is like it is what it is. Like you can get structural like you really got to try to not have a
Yeah.
strong arrow
Well,
nowadays.
see, like Evan in here, he's talking about shot placement is key. Shot placement is key, but you will not get shot placement if you do not have the proper Aeroflight.
Right. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I think shot placement is definitely important, but you also got to remember like if your bow isn't tuned and you're shooting and your bow is like 90% tuned and you go shoot all summer and you feel confident and then you get into the woods and you're in a high pressure situation where all this adrenaline is there and you might not be perfect.
Yep.
Your bow is going to be less forgiving if it's only 90% tuned versus 100% like perfect. Even if you can't shoot the difference on a calm day, you will tell the difference in a high
Oh
stress
yeah. Oh, you
situation.
definitely will.
You
That high
you
stress
100%
situation will
will.
make you look like a noob real quick.
Oh yeah. Dude, my buddy, I've been tuning his bow for years and he's a he's a gatherer. I would call him a gatherer. I mean, there were hunters back in the day and there were gatherers. He
Yep.
was a gatherer for
Nice.
sure. I mean, he loves to hunt, but he's just not very good at killing stuff. And um I finished off like 3 deer for him in 1 year. I knew his bow was tuned right, but he used to get such bad buck fever that he would just like freak out when a buck would come in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this year he finally like broke his curse because he shot like a 180 this year.
Oh, nice.
He shot a stud this year.
That's all he's
He
gonna
shot
be
him at
after
like
now, though.
what's that?
I said that's all he's gonna be after now, though.
I don't know. He's usually if it's brown, it's down. I think he just kind
Okay.
of got lucky that this was the first one that gave him a shot and
Okay.
he
So he's like
whacked it.
me. He's like me then. Brown is down, baby. I don't care. Meat
Yeah,
is
I
meat.
mean, and don't get me wrong, dude. Like, I got a lot of bucks on the wall. I've been to Africa twice, killed Cape, buffalo, all that stuff. Still to this day, when I get in the saddle, like, if a doe walks under me early September, like, I'm at full draw and I'm
Oh
cranking
yeah.
her. Like,
Opening day this year, I took two does within 30 minutes of each other. I love
right. Yeah, the only time I don't shoot does is like late October into early
it.
November. I
Yep.
won't take those. But usually I've already got two mule deer in the freezer by the time my whitetail season opens here. So like I'll usually just try to shoot. We get unlimited doe tags in my area. Um, so usually I'll just bop around early season onto different public land and I'll just shoot one doe a weekend for
Nice.
like 3 weeks
You know,
and then I'm good. Like last year, I didn't even hunt for bucks last year. I had good bucks and I had opportunities, but I was more focused on trying to get my fiance a buck
yeah.
last year. So like I kind of put my buck hunting on the side because I had already went and mule deer hunted. Um,
Right.
and I'll be honest, I don't really care about whitetail hunting. So I mean, I care about it. Like I care about like the management side of it and like
Yeah.
only taking mature deer and like I care about it, but I don't care if I fill my tag, I should say.
Yeah. I got you.
It's like I don't care if I fill my tag. I'm gonna buy one every year, but
Yeah. I ended
is it,
up getting I ended up getting 8 this year. So
that's a lot.
yeah, it was a lot. My freezer is still full.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a little hybrid target hunting setup and then, you know, kind of going back into the ASA world archery scene, but I don't know. I haven't really put much thought into it. I have not put much thought into it. I'm just too busy to think about it right now, really, is really what it boils down to.
Right.
But
Belger said, "I'll take some sausage." What's going on, Great White? What's up? Holy crap! I just looked at the top of the daggum thing, and I'm already almost at 5,000 likes. Good lord! Thank y'all. It's only because Bergy's in here. I know. I get it.
yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I got going on. I don't know. I might dabble back in the target scene. If I do, it'll be 2025 before I'm like
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I
ready.
remember you saying that you're going to try it for 25. That'll be good, man. That'll be good. Did you
Yeah.
did you ever hear anything back from Randy?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
No. No, not yet. I'm hoping I hear back from him soon because I'd like to talk to him, but I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I'm also not the guy like I'm not gonna go chasing shit either. It's just
Well,
like
you also got to think too. Darton's been busy as all get out right now. I mean, hell, they had between Vegas and Lancaster, they had six podiums. They had two that podiumed at indoor. He travels with every single one of them. He does not stay here in Georgia. He goes to every single one of them. And
right,
even with me having his personal number, I reach out to him just about every weekend. But he has yet to reach back out to me in like 2 weeks. I mean, he's just been busy as all get out. I think your best bet is going to be, sometime in the off season, but you'll have to catch him between target season and hunting season.
right. And I get that. And like, dude, when I texted you the other day, I had literally like just finished filling out my stuff to send to him.
Yeah.
So like it's only been like a little over 24 hours. Like, dude, I ain't stressing it. I have I have like 30 messages on Facebook right now that I haven't even responded to. So like I get it,
I'm
like
busy, people.
like I get it. I mean,
Yep.
dude, I had to text a buddy yesterday because I got a lot of buddies that like just text me throughout the week about archery stuff. Like I had 4 text messages sitting right here from guys. And it's just like I had to text them and just be like, "Hey man, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you or that like I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm just like fucking slammed right now. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm busy. I got like a million other things on my mind right now. So like I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you because I'm not. I'm just like or like there was like a 2 week period where I was ordering strings like every 4 hours. I was ordering strings and some of my
Holy
buddies were
Jesus.
texting
Huh?
me and I was just like giving them like 3 word responses. And they're like, dude, are you good? I'm like,
They're
yeah,
like, why
yeah,
are you
I'm
being so
good.
short?
I'm just, I'm like, I don't hate you.
Yep.
I'm like, I need more hours in the day.
Yeah.
Like I need more
Oh yeah.
free hours in a day. But
Yeah, for real.
it is what it is. I mean, I like it. I mean, the goal is to hopefully by by the end of like 2024, early 2025, I'm planning on having our shop built and it's going to be I haven't really told anybody this, but like it's going to be like a one of a kind thing. Like nobody else in the industry is going to do what I'm about to do.
Right.
Um and it's going to be pretty exciting and that should be able to take me down to like 10 hours a week part-time
Oh,
on
nice.
a day job.
Nice.
But it'll be a 70-yard indoor range with 25 lanes. And then inside,
One more time. What?
there's going to be a 70-yard indoor range with 25 lanes.
Good lord.
But it's going to be, it's going to have, it's going to have 15-foot ceilings. But then in the back, so like you're going to have 70-yard range, then I'm going to have a 15-yard buffer zone
Okay.
where if nobody's there you can shoot 80 but then that would be the hangout spot.
Yeah.
So that would be where people will hang out is in that 15-yard buffer zone. Yeah, Evan, Unbound has always hooked me up. I've known Nick since before he made strings. I knew Nick, the owner of Unbound, before like 5 years before he even made strings. So, um, so you'll have that 15-yard buffer zone, and then behind that, there's going to be a 40 by 20 shop that has its own wall and its own door, and it'll be a full-fledged pro shop. But the reason I'm going to do that is there's going to be a separate door that goes into the range, and I'm basically going to sell memberships, like a gym membership,
Yeah.
so that you can come and go and shoot in there. If you work day shift, or you work the midnight shift and you sleep all day and you have a day off, and like you never have anywhere to go to shoot
Oh,
because
so it's
every
gonna be an
shop is
open door.
closed.
Okay, membership open door thing.
Yeah, like a gym
Hell
membership.
yeah.
Yeah, like a
Hell
24-hour open membership to
dude.
the range
Oh my
so that
god.
you can go and just shoot whenever you want. But then there'll be a separate security door that while I'm there, that door will be unlocked. But while I'm not there, that door will be completely sealed off so that nobody can get into the pro shop side and
Yeah.
start using my press or steal
Right.
anything
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything
You
like
gotta
that.
you gotta be able to take the liability out of your hands on that. Yeah.
Right. And then obviously we're going to have waivers so that if anybody gets injured, you waive the right that it's not my responsibility if you get hurt on the property, if you're shooting here after hours. But like I'm going to do it like that because like around here, like especially in the winter, like if you go to work at 7 a.m. and you get off at 4, it's already dark at 4 in
Yeah.
December here,
Yeah.
and it's usually snowy. So you're not going to go outside and shoot, and it's already dark. So then
Yeah.
you got to try to get home, change, grab your bow, and get to a pro shop before they close at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of guys just
You
don't get
can
to shoot in
enjoy
the
that
winter.
hour of shooting. You want to spend more time with it too. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then in the winter, we'll do a 30 target indoor 3D league inside out to 70 yards with a 3D league.
Nice.
Like nobody else does that. Like it'll be a pretty
Man,
cool,
that's gonna
it'll
be
be
sick.
a pretty cool ordeal. So,
That sounds cool as hell. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to become a member up there when you get that. I mean, I may pay the $500 in gas to get out there, but I'm gonna be a member.
yeah, it's gonna be a pretty cool thing. It's just right now I'm trying to nail down where I want to put it, so that
Cobb
it
County,
is
Georgia.
beneficial, for everybody.
Put it right here in Georgia. That's fine.
See, my problem, I got a lot of guys that are telling me Nick over at Unbound, he wants me to build my shop on his property
Oh, okay.
down in Kansas, and which is not out of the question. It's definitely not out of the question. Um, but my problem is like Kansas, I'm okay with Kansas. I got a couple buddies that want me to go down to Oklahoma. That's a little too far from the western states I like to hunt, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's like, if anything, I want to get closer to the mule deer. I
Yeah.
want I want to get closer. I don't want to get further from the mule deer. I
Right.
want to get closer to them,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'll be down in Evan. I'll be down in Kansas in July. Yeah, I'll be down in Kansas in June or July. I haven't nailed it down yet, but I'm going down and I'll be spending a long weekend at Nick's house. So I'll be out there in Kansas in July. Because it's crazy. I've known Nick for, I think this is the 12th year we've known each other, and I've never met him in person.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
I mean,
Dang.
we've been at we like he's been at ATA and I was at ATA, and we just like never never ended up like crossing paths because we were just so busy talking to people. And then like we're like, fuck, dude, we didn't see each other. And then
Yeah.
and then we go like to a different event and then we just don't see each other.
You always miss each other.
Um and but it's crazy because I was just telling somebody this the other day. A buddy of mine called Nick and he's like, "Hey, Bergy recommended your strings. I'm just wondering like what your lead time's like." And Nick was talking to him and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I love Bergy. He orders a ton of strings for me." and then I called Nick and I was talking to him and we looked back at the orders of his last 468 orders. I have 287 of them.
Damn.
So
That's
like,
half of all of his orders.
yeah, I do a lot with Nick and Nick does so much for me. And so like that's why like I do truly believe that he does have the best strings on the market, but I'm always down to just support good people too, like just supporting good people that just care about archery and that's just my thing. Like even if
He's using Bloodline, right?
yeah,
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 he's
Beckman.
keeping Bloodline afloat.
Yeah. Well, and Bloodline is right here in Minnesota.
Are they really?
Yeah, Bloodline's only like 2 hours away. So is Dialed.
Oh, dialed. Okay.
Yeah, they're like 2 hours away from me too. What up, Apex?
What's going on, Apex?
Yeah, Unbound is in Kansas. Correct, Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good stuff. He's a good dude. He's a good person. He really cares about archery. He's done a lot for the archery industry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've talked with
but
him a little, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot.
yeah,
He's a really cool guy. I like talking to him.
a lot of people don't know this, but like they have like a local like school archery like for kids in school, like a high school thing. And every year, Nick goes through and puts brand new strings on all of the school's bows for free. He doesn't
Oh
charge them
wow, that's
anything.
awesome.
Like he builds like 170 sets for these bows, and he puts them all on. He makes sure everything's safe. He goes through all of them and like just does that for his community, his local
Yeah,
community, to make
I
sure that
can't.
everybody's
I
safe.
can't. Minus him, I can't think of any honestly shop or string company that gives back to the community like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, he
No,
does.
didn't he also do or has been doing what is it the like shot 3D or something like that?
Yeah, he's one of their main sponsors of Shot 3D. He's been bitching at me to get down there and shoot one of them. And just the other day, Dylan Foster was like, "Dude, are you coming down to shoot Shot?" And I was like, "No, I want to, like
Yeah,
I want to, but I'm going to Bowfest this year, and then I got 3 mule deer tags, and it's just like I got too much shit
yeah.
going on. I can't get down to Oklahoma."
Geographically, they're not in a good spot for me. Any of them. So
Yeah, I mean, Bowfest is only like 3 hours from me. If I were to go down to Oklahoma, like I'd have to fly into Oklahoma
yeah,
to make it even worth my time. Otherwise, I'd be driving 2 days,
right,
of
right.
it. So it's just like I would like to go to Shot because Shot seems like a lot more fun than TAC, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does.
But um, yeah, I don't know. We don't have to talk about Unbound anymore, but I can't speak highly enough about him. He's good shit. He's good shit for sure. One of the few people I trust in life.
Yeah.
But it is what it
Good
is.
stuff. Good
What's up,
stuff. All right.
Drew?
So let's talk. Let's talk. I
What up,
saw a
Apex?
comment in here probably like an hour ago, and I want to go back to it. Someone commented what releases you using. And I know you like to play around with releases a lot. So have you kind of like
Yeah,
settled on one for maybe this year, or you
yeah.
still
I'm
let
gonna be using the Too Smooth.
too smooth?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna be using the hinge all year. I'll probably be using a hinge indefinitely, like moving forward. On my personal bow. Um, However, I will usually carry a thumb button in my bino harness or in my pack.
Okay.
One of the two I'll usually carry, just
What
in
thumb
case
button
as
you
a
like?
backup. But what's that?
What thumb button are you liking right now?
The knock to it.
Knock
Yeah,
to
I
it.
shoot the knock to it.
Okay.
Um, I I really, really, really liked my True Ball HBC Flex. I really, really liked it because it was brass and it was really heavy.
It was good looking too.
Yeah, it was a cool looking release, and when they wear, they look super cool. But I was not as consistent with that release as I am with the Too Smooth. And like, I don't care how cool or how much I liked it. I got to go with whatever's the most accurate. And for me, the Too Smooth is a little bit more accurate. And in a hunting situation, I can hook the Too Smooth onto my D loop a lot faster.
I got you. I got you.
What up, Dylan? And Drew, whose logo do you have tatted on you?
He's got your
Nimrod?
logo. He's got your logo tattooed on him.
I got my
There you
logo
go.
tattooed on me too.
Yep. That's funny. Oh, you got Nimrod set? Okay. All right.
I'll get Nimrod's logo tattooed on my butt cheek. That's what I'll do.
All right, you said it, not me.
Yeah. All right, Evan. Have a good
All
one,
right,
man.
Evan, we'll see you, man. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm about to do the same thing, man. My kids are already in bed, but I'm about to go to bed myself.
Sounds good. Dude, it's Friday.
I know, but I just got home. I've been gone all week.
Hey, you know what? I saw you're a lineman, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that you posted that picture of your shadow, and then Nick posted a
Oh, I
picture
know.
of
I was
him.
like, damn it. Yeah.
Dude,
I
that
saw. I was
dude,
like, well, shit.
yeah, he did that for like 15 or I want to say he did it for like 6 years, but he's been in that industry for like 15 years now.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he's been like climbing on top of them suckers forever. I couldn't do it, but
Yep.
I mean,
I love it.
I could do the lineman thing. I don't think I could stand on top of like a turbine like
Oh,
that.
I
You
know
know?
that's high. That's
Yeah,
high.
yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, my highest climb is 780. So, I don't know.
That's still too high for me. That's too high for me. I'd have to take some antidepressants or something. I don't know. Dude,
Oh Lord.
as a bow hunter and a saddle hunter at that, dude, I do not like heights. I don't. I really don't like heights. I've been on a few mountains where like I'm kind of leaning on the side hill and I look down and I'm like, oh shit, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my God. Like I'm not a big fan of heights. Um, but I mean, in the saddle, I'm pretty comfortable.
yeah.
In a hang on, I get a little like
A
I'm
little
like
sketch.
checking it, bouncing in it,
Yep,
like okay,
yep,
okay, it's not going anywhere, and then I'll sit down.
yeah,
But in the saddle, I know I'm not going anywhere because
yeah,
I'm like connected at all times.
yep.
Um,
Yeah, my buddy, he's got Eric, the one you know him, but he's got a climber, and he's this year he got a little higher, but last year he came down to my property and we hunted it together, and I was on one end, he was on the other, and I went back to go get him right before dark, and he was the bottom platform where his feet are was at 12 feet. I'm like, really? You're right here? I'm like, come on, dude, go. He's like, nah, man, I'm good.
hey, that big whitetail. A lot of times around here, I don't hunt higher than like 12, 13 feet,
Okay.
but mostly because like our undercarriage
If you got the
of
coverage to sustain it, yeah.
there's a lot of cover here. It's not very open. So like if I start getting up, like my buddy, he hunts at like 25 feet, and I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you even see the deer? Like, how do you even have a shooting lane? Like I can't even see if I get up that high.
Okay.
And he loves getting up that high, but like for me, like I start climbing up and I'm like, the higher I get, the branches start getting closer, and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to start cutting these things out of here. I'm just gonna hunt at 15 feet. And then, but with the saddle, I would feel comfortable hunting with a saddle at like 8 feet if I had to, because
Mhm.
the tree is here, and you're expecting them to come from over here. So
Yeah.
like the tree is in between you and where you expect them. So you can just kind of shimmy around the tree and hide yourself. So
Yeah.
like,
I want to get for my saddle setup. I've seen one, but they're kind of expensive. Or I even thought about making one, but I want to get one of those 360 platforms. That
yeah,
way
like
I can walk
the
around.
ring of steps or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That way I
and
can just walk around it.
The other thing is like my fiance, she hates heights, dude. She won't go higher than like 12 feet.
Okay.
You know, and if like the tree is like here and then there's a hill down here, 10 feet.
Yeah.
Like she won't go higher than 10 feet because like she gets up in the stand and then she looks down the hill and she's like, oh my God.
I did
And
that
but if
one
you
time.
like
I was up on a this creek, and there was a tree that had the roots. Half of the roots were down in the creek, and the rest of it was up on the bank. Well, the bank was about a 15-foot bank. It was insane. So when you're on ground level and you climb up, it's like, okay, 18, 20 feet. To the right side where the creek was, I mean, you're like 40 feet. It's like, holy crap, okay.
Mhm, right. Yeah, she doesn't like that. So usually like if I know that there's deer moving in an area, luckily she's right-handed and I'm left-handed. So usually I'll just hang her stand off the high side of the hill
Yep,
and then I'll sit on the low side of the hill because I don't really care. 90% of the time when I'm in the saddle, I sit here and I straddle the tree like this and I rest my arms on my bridge and
yep,
I just sit like this.
yep. That's exactly
And,
what I do too. Yeah, just sit there. Okay, we're waiting.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing I will say with the saddle though, I definitely move a lot more in the saddle.
Yeah.
Like I like to like swing
Yep.
back and forth.
Fidget more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I tell you what, last year I kind of put us in a small tree, and she was on a hang on this side of the tree, and I'm in the saddle on the back. We're sitting there, and like 3 hours in, I just start getting antsy, you know, and I start swinging like this, and she turns around and she goes, "Will you knock it off?" And I'm like, "What? I'm not even making any noise." And she's like, "You're moving the whole fucking tree," and I was like, "Oh, well, I mean, you
My
can't
bad.
tell when you're swinging in it, you know."
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
can't tell because the tree's moving with you, and I'm just like sitting here going like this in
And
my
she's doing
saddle,
this too for some reason.
and she's going like this, and she's like holding the tree like
Oh
this,
God.
and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, you're moving so damn much,
Damn.
it's moving the tree," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
My bad.
Mm. What up, Shane? Shane, we're actually about to just end this.
Yep.
So,
Coming in towards the end. Well, all right, man. Hey, do you got any qualms on me posting this? You good?
no,
All right,
no.
cool deal. I'm gonna post this one up, and we'll holler at everybody later. And appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, you have a good night, JD.
All
Have a
right,
good
man.
night,
See you.
everybody. All right, peace.